Well, hello, CrossWinds. Welcome back to the More Than Sunday podcast, where we have a chance to try to stay engaged with you throughout the week, doing these podcasts with different people. And today, it's the first time we're actually going to do a little bit more than just me and another person. We're going to do three of us today talking. I've got Zac Hamstra, who's our middle school director, and Daniel Parsons, our high school pastor. They're going to be talking to us about how they're doing student ministry in the midst of all of this, what the summer looks like. And by the end of the podcast, I throw out my idea for an alternative prom. So enjoy this. All right, welcome, guys. I'm here with Zac Hamstra, who is our level up and middle school director, and with Daniel Parsons, who is our high school pastor. Guys, welcome to the More Than Sunday podcast.
Hey, what's going on?
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Doing good. I miss being out with people, not necessarily being outside, because we can still go outside. It's just I miss being around other people. I'm extroverted, so being inside all this time is a little rough.
I believe it. I was telling these guys before we started recording that I very intentionally programmed our podcast meeting for 9 a.m. just because I know that they work late on Wednesday nights. Even now, they work late. We'll talk about that in a minute. But my goal is to get you up and working early this morning. Early for you. I've been up since like 6.
I had to get up, make coffee, and take a walk, so I knew I would be of right mind for this.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I was hoping, guys, that you could fill us in a little bit on what student ministry is looking like during these kind of weird times. I mean, what you've obviously had to adapt to make this thing work. What have you started doing, each of you? Just walk us through it.
So, I mean, we're doing a lot of different things. Chris, I think one thing I appreciated that you said early on when we first jumped into this was like, you were like, this stuff excites me, and we have to be creative about how we approach it. And honestly, like those words kind of shaped how I approached all this. And so we're doing a ton of different creative stuff. And even I think it's been cool. We've had to like find ways to digitally connect. And so in areas that we might not have been super present, we are now. And so I've just got like a list of things that we've been doing. And so
Daniel, you guys usually meet here on Wednesday nights at the church. And are you, so right now you're meeting on Wednesdays online? What's that look like?
Yeah, so we're doing small groups on Google Meet, and then we also like send out a worship link, and kids have been worshiping via like a YouTube page that we like, and then we're also I'm doing video messages, and so that's been good too. We've done like the first 2.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say for level up in middle school and high school, it's about trying to create some consistent routine within their daily week of like, hey, we know that you're used to being at church on Wednesday nights. So like we're doing middle schools, like doing their small groups on Wednesday nights from 5:30 to 7, and just getting a chance to connect with other students. And then on Sundays, we even go live on Instagram just to kind of have that air of consistency, like, hey, you would normally be at church at this time, so let's go ahead and go live right now and get a chance to interact. And even with level up, we're doing Google Hangouts Sunday mornings at 9:00.
Right, because you normally meet on Sunday mornings.
Sunday mornings, 9:00 for level up, and that's their like consistent time to get to hang out with each other. And we had, believe it or not, we had like 15 to 16 preteen students in a Google chat room, and they were teaching me how to use it better.
I believe that. I entirely believe that. That's cool, man. That's good. Yes. Daniel, have you noticed, what's it meant? Are there less kids involved right now in high school ministry? More kids involved since you started to do this? Is it about the same? What are you seeing?
I think we probably have maybe like 10 to 15 less, but our large chunk of kids are still connecting. And also we've had a lot of kids who like have not been able to connect for a while because they're doing sports, or maybe even they live in a different area. And so those kids have been able to join into small groups, which has been super cool actually. So we've seen some faces return, which has been really fun.
That's good. Yeah, Zac, you were telling us the other day at a staff meeting, an online staff meeting, I'll say, because we're all sheltering in place. You've had some kids from out of the state too, right?
Yeah, we had some kids that moved away or even joined small groups. In addition to like, we've had some kids who don't come to small groups start coming to small because they live, all over the Bay Area, whether it's in Tracy or Clayton. They've been able to join us for groups. It's been awesome.
I'm curious, what do you guys think? I mean, has it even occurred to you at all that maybe you'd want to continue some of this online small group stuff after this is all over? Daniel, you're nodding your head yes. What are you thinking?
I think there's so many kids that I have who like want to make it on Wednesday or want to make it on Sunday or want to make it on Monday, and they're limited by the drive, or they're limited by if their parents will take them, or they're limited by getting home, just right before everything's going to start from something. And so I've been like, it'd be cool to just throw a laptop in our small groups and have kids be able to kick it with us. Like, I think that'd be really cool.
Sure. Yeah. Andrew and I were talking last night. We were driving around. We weren't driving around. We were running an essential errand. And as we were out, we were just discussing small group and how this could really change small group overall. And it's not to suggest small groups won't continue to meet in person once this thing's over, but we were thinking about how, when you do small group in person, even just as a couple, it's a 90-minute small group, but it's a 3-hour commitment. By the time you get ready, leave the house, get here, get all set, or wherever you're meeting, get home after it's over. It's your whole night. So to consider that there could be some form of small group where you literally can roll up in your pajamas or whatever the case is, log in, have a 1-hour conversation that hopefully gets at the heart of it, and then moves on to the next thing. It all of a sudden feels a lot more accessible. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think with that too, Chris, is like, again, having those students, it opened my eyes to students who come to our church who come from like Walnut Creek and Hayward and wherever. And it's so much easier for them to connect.
Hey, not to interrupt, that's exciting, Zach, but I just got a notification on my screen that my paper towels are arriving today.
Oh my gosh.
I ordered paper towels through Amazon 3 weeks ago, and they are finally arriving today. I don't get it.
3 weeks ago?
Was it 3 weeks? 3 weeks ago. I'm not exaggerating it. And it's Prime, yes. And it's Prime. I wonder if you are allowed to call in and get your discount on Prime for it being more than 2 days late, or more than 2 days shipping. I have I don't know if you noticed, but Amazon is only sending essential items right now.
Yeah.
And even the essential items are taking 3 weeks.
I think so many people are ordering stuff, and it's like, you might as well, because A, you feel safer, and B, like you've used it all of your life up until this point, and so it's just accessible, I guess.
Have you guys been to the grocery store lately? I mean, are you?
I went the first week of shelter in place, and it was like a very depressing thing to do. Like, I was like, oh good, I'm gonna get a chance to get out of the house and I will see people. I will keep my distance, of course, but it'll be so cool to get out and feel the energy and kind of just not be in the house for a little while. And the shelves are empty. It feels like one of those post-apocalyptic movies.
It does a little bit. Now they've added sneeze guards at the cashier. So you're at the cash register, and there is a giant piece of plexiglass from the beginning of where you put your stuff on the conveyor belt and to the end of the bagging area. And it's good. It's good for the person working the cash register, because you're thinking, oh, they don't have to get coughed on, sneezed on, breathed on, talked to. And then you realize, wait, my face is 6 inches away from the plexiglass that everybody else has been 6 inches away from,
using as a sneeze guard.
Yes, it's actually kind of scary. So, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, student ministry. Talk to us. So, what is the plan for camp right now? Any news on that? I mean, what's going on with Hume Lake? You were going to go to Hume Lake this summer, Zach, and we've got houseboats. What's the latest on that? Do we know anything yet?
So with Hume Lake, the big thing is we, in we've been waiting to kind of find out if we can get some space in July. And so we have slowly been getting some space in July, and it's been coming to us. But with that, when this all hit, we were having a kind of a conversation around potentially just like slowing down on our decision and waiting to see how this kind of pans out, like how long we're sheltered in place and things like that, because it could have a huge impact on our summer plans.
Absolutely.
And so Daniel and I have even already started talking about like, hey, if we are sheltered in place or we're restricted on how many people we have, like what are some ideas of things that we can do to engage kids over the summertime in meaningful and wonderful relationship, point them towards Jesus. Like, do we do small, more intimate, like camping trips, like a couple of those, or do we just kind of figure it out from there in a sense of what does it look like? Do we do one big camp at CrossWinds? You know, all of those different things. Like, hey, here are some other options if the bottom falls out on being able to go to Hume Lake or something like that.
So I'm hearing you say, Zach, that you've got some other kind of backup plans in place if for some reason we're not able to go to camp as planned this summer. And the plan very much is still trying to go to Hume Lake, because one, Hume Lake is an awesome experience for our students to get to be with a bunch of other students and worship God in a really, really meaningful way. And it's a fantastic area and location. And Hume Lake is definitely the goal. Yeah.
And even with our dates, we're like, okay, we even have up until August to kind of figure out if we can go or not. So we'll keep you updated as soon as we know what we're going to do or what's going to happen.
Yeah. Sure. I think like a lot of the world right now, everything is kind of up in the air, and everybody's summer vacations are kind of on hold, and we're all trying to figure out where we're going to be this summer and what things are going to look like. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We lost Daniel here. Let me see if we can try to get him back. Hold on a second. We've got Daniel back on the line here. And Daniel, we were just talking about the summer. What's the latest with houseboats?
Yeah, it's tough, man. It makes me really sad, like just having to even think through and wonder if it's something we're going to be able to do. And it feels at times, I think, out of my hands to some degree. But the good news is I've talked with the organization that we work with, and they're like, we're still doing everything, and they plan to be back to business as usual around May or June. And so as far as that end, it seems like we're good to go. But the truth of the matter is, I'm sure, like Zach said, we don't know. We can't know. Unfortunately.
Yeah. A lot of this is just unknown. And Daniel, you guys normally would have opened up registration for houseboats by now and started to have people signing up and handing in money and all of those things. And obviously you're just kind of putting that on pause for a little while here until we get some more clarity. So tough times, man. It really is an interesting season for you guys in all of this. Hey, before we go, Daniel, one other question. So both of you, actually, we're recording this on April 2nd, Thursday. It's going to be released on April 3rd, Friday. But yesterday, April 1st, we officially got word school is out for summer. Well, it's not out. Distance learning will start here. But by and large, kids are going to be home from here on out. Man, I would think as you guys are talking to your students, you're just finding more and more of them are missing their friends and missing events you guys can put on and engaging. Talk to us about that a little bit. I mean, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like a repeated over and over again conversation I have with kids. Is like, man, I just miss my friends. I miss like the things I look forward to. Like, I miss all the stuff that makes me feel normal. And honestly, it's tough, but I think one thing I continue to encourage kids with is I think, dude, like we could never have given a better message or sermon about social media than this moment right now. Like kids are learning right now that like the ways that we connected before, like maybe they worked as good distractions or like ways that we connected. But now more than ever, we're learning it's just not enough. Like it's truly not enough. And I'm actually kind of grateful for that realization of like, dude, we have to do more and we have to find ways to really connect with one another and be intentional, because if not, we're just going to be feeling completely out of touch. So,
Zach, are your students seeing the same thing? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yesterday I tuned into the podcast on the first with Steve Girali and listened to that about talking with our kids about what's going on and things like that. And I brought it up in some of the small groups that we talked with last night in different groups. And I was like, hey, how do you guys feel about it? And one of the students actually said, oh, this is the new normal. Like, I just have to get used to video chat. That's all I have now. I don't get to hang out with my friends. We don't get to go to the movies. We don't get to go bowling. We don't get to do anything fun anymore. We just talk online about whether it's a video game we're playing or a book we're reading or a movie we've watched, #Tiger King, but the idea is it was cool because Steve said yesterday, one of the most important things is to like be like, hey, this is a moment in time. It's not about this isn't the new normal. This isn't going to be how it's going to be forever. And I think that's like a message for our students all the time, especially middle school students, where they are learning their new emotions and things like that. If you have a middle school student, you could probably relate to the mood swings that come with that and feeling like they're not normal and they're out of place. And this whole process does not help that. So wherever you can add normal things to their lives is like really important. So
sure. That makes sense. That's good. That's really good advice.
That's so interesting, Zach, because I've almost encouraged kids to go the opposite direction of being like, okay, let's say that this is our current normal, right? Like when do we get to the point when we're able to say like, okay, I have to learn how to be healthy and exist in this space, like, but also remind them that, hey, it's not going to be like this forever. But at the same time, like, how do we get to the point when we're not just like moping and like sad and bummed out that this is it, and kind of reach a spot where we're doing the things we need to and do those normal things like you talked about. And so,
yeah. And I think that's where it's like, one, trying to bridge the gap between the new, like kind of what we're experiencing in this moment, and then also
the permanent.
and the things that like, hey, like as we've talked about as a staff, like what are some of the cool things that might come out of this that we will continue to do? Like, I think we could potentially see students using social media even less after this is all over, because I've been watching my social media feed and there's just not as much content being pushed out on social media, these days.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to find that in a good way, kids will be sick of their social media for a while and really re-embrace what it is to do life with each other in person. Yeah.
Let's get ready for those pool parties this summer. That's what I'm saying.
Well, actually, that leads to an idea I want to close with. I want to pitch this to you, Daniel. Everybody has canceled their prom or their senior ball.
I know. Yeah.
What would it be for us to host a valley-wide prom here in our barn or our auditorium? We go like decadent with this thing, and
I'm about it.
When this is all over in the summer, we have like an incredible prom that we invite everybody to.
I'm about it as long as kids keep 6 feet away.
We'll see if we can make that happen. We'll see if we can make that happen.
No, I think it's such an awesome idea. Like, I think it was so tough seeing kids post like prom photos of them just like in their attire with one another. And I'm like, that's so tough, especially for seniors. I mean, seniors are missing out on like just one of like the coolest times of life when you're like just senioritis and having fun and getting out and wrestling through what's next. And so,
did you guys see that April Fool's jokes that parents were playing? Like, hey kids, you're going back to school today. And so they were all waiting outside for the bus to pick them up. And
right.
It's hard.
And then you see the dad. Yeah. You see the dad from the front porch go, hey, what day is it today, guys? just get all mad and stomp back
April
in the house.
Fools is the worst. Like, I don't know, you call it a holiday? It's the worst of all possible days on the calendar. Never.
I'm glad we missed it.
Me too.
All right, cool.
Go ahead, Zach. You're gonna say something.
I was gonna say that one of our students got pranked. Lexi Cunningham her mom froze her cereal for breakfast, and it was funny to see the joy in that whole experience because they recorded it and sent it out on social media. So it was a fun thing.
That's great. That's great. All right, guys. Thank you for doing this. Keep up the good work. This is a tough season, I know, but I'm excited. I think innovation comes out of the tough seasons, and we learn about what we could have been doing all along that would have been world changing. So thanks for what you do.
Cool. Thanks for having us.